Hey guys, and welcome to the wrap up. If you haven't been here before, this is the official Raptors Republic live post game show where we recap, we dissect, and we have some fun talking about the latest Raptors game. I'm your co-host Sahal Abdi, again here with my co-host Oren Weisfeld. Oren, tonight, this was an entertaining game. The Raptors defeated the San Antonio Spurs 117 to 112, bringing the Raptors record to 21-34 on the season. Oren, DeMar DeRozan made his nice, good old return. I love seeing DeMar back. I don't know about you, Oren. DeMar has quickly, of course, him being a former Toronto Raptor, he's in all our hearts. But, I mean, the way his game has expanded, I want to say the last 3-4 years into becoming one of the better playmaking wings in the league. Goodness gracious, he is so much more fun to watch. It was good to see him back. Him and Kyle Lowry, of course, had a nice chat. Nick Nurse got into it a little bit. You saw Nick Nurse laughing a little bit in the background, as well as Jama Malalela, the assistant coach of the Toronto Raptors. Like I said, this was a fun game. I feel like Toronto almost let it slip late in this game. Chris Boucher, I mean, goodness gracious. Oren, I don't know about you, man. And again, I don't want to hang this on anybody, right? But I feel like Chris Boucher hasn't proved to, the team, the staff, that he deserves to play late in games. We constantly see, Chris Boucher making these boneheaded decisions late in the game. This should have been such an easy win for Toronto. I think they were up like 12 or something with like maybe just over a minute left. Got cut down to 10, got cut down to 8, to 7, to 5. And then obviously the Raptors won 117-112. But what did you make at the end of that game? Were you kind of worried, or? I mean, I was worried, to be quite honest.
Let me just adjust this.
Well, I kind of want to start with the good, to be honest, because I saw more good than bad, and then we can definitely get to Boucher because
that's right.
Just like you, I questioned the decisions, but like overall, I think we should just start with the good because the Raptors were missing like 4 pretty key guys: Fred, Kyle, Bembry, and Trent, and they beat a good Spurs team, a healthy Spurs team, and I was really impressed with the Raptors. I thought the lineups made a ton of sense. Nurse kind of split up Siakam and Flynn like he hadn't really been doing in previous games, and kind of had a playmaker, a lead ball handler on the floor at all times. He split up Gillespie and Birch. They didn't play at all together, so it was kind of only one non-shooting big man at the floor at a time.
Yeah,
I thought like all game their lineups made a ton of sense. Siakam and Flynn each did a really good job carrying the lineups they were asked to carry, which at times were really bad lineups. Like Flynn had one in the first half that was just bench players in him. Siakam had kind of a similar deal in the second half. OG, I'm sure we're going to get into him. He really had a great game, not just shooting, but playing in the pick and roll. Him and Birch had a couple nice plays. Yuta and Paul Watson were hitting shots. This is a lot of stuff that I'm saying. These are all the notes I have for good things. Their transition game was great. They got stops and they ran, and they finished in transition. And then the last thing is the bigs, season high 54 rebounds for the Raptors tonight. Gillespie and Birch looked extremely competent across the board. 48 minutes of a good big man on the floor will do wonders for your team.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was kind of stuck for a sec because I was watching, this is the thing with games, San Antonio Spurs Raptors games now. Whenever a game that includes, DeMar DeRozan, former Toronto Raptor, I feel like the Twitter timeline just gets absolutely filled with like DeMar DeRozan hugging each and every Raptors player that he used to play with. I just saw a picture of him and Pascal Siakam hugging, which was great to see. Him smiling. I mean, it was good. It was a fun game. For me, you mentioned OG Anunoby. He was my player of the game. He was a guy that, off of a back-to-back, this team had to have OG step up. Pascal was like up and down a bit in this game. I feel like overall he did well. He was really active around the glass. He attacked the rim a whole lot. At some points in this game, it really just felt like him and Khem Birch were the only ones really attacking the rim. He finished 20 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, Pascal. But OG Anunoby, for me, 22 points. He shot 50%. And we saw a lot of things from OG Oren in this game where you don't see very often. He was coming off curls a lot. He was, curling off these screens and shooting those, Norman Powell-esque threes that, OG Anunoby's not usually shooting. I mean, OG Anunoby usually is that guy that kind of camps out in the corner. Maybe he gets a hammer screen from a player and he hits a three, but you don't usually see him curling around the entire court, coming up on the elbow and hitting a three, kind of like Norman Powell did or was doing for Toronto, of course, until he got traded. But, we saw elbow isolations from OG.
Real quick on that, those kind of movement shots coming off screens, that's what makes, that's one of the things that makes OG so special because this is a 4, this is a power forward asked to play the 2 to come off screens and shoot movement jumpers, and he's knocking them all down. So that just shouldn't really be a thing from your power forward who often guards centers, asking him to shoot shots that a normal 2 guard will kind of get, those kind of pin downs and whatnot. So let's keep talking about OG, but just that is pretty ridiculous for him.
Yeah. The thing that like I said, impressed me most was that we were seeing things from OG you just don't see that often, right? There was times where Greg Popovich questionably was putting Derek White, who I believe is anywhere between 6'3" and 6'5", on OG Anunoby, much thinner than OG Anunoby. Derek White, by the way, very good perimeter defender, from what I saw at least, very active. But I mean, OG's OG. He's
but Pop had a few choices because the Raptors matched up so big against the Spurs, who kind of went small.
Yeah.
So he had Pirtle on Birch, at least for the starting lineups, and then what's his name? Keldon Johnson on Siakam, and then he kind of had no choice. He's not going to put DeMar on OG. DeMar's not a good defender, and then Murray was kind of defending point guard, so he kind of had to go with someone smaller regardless.
Yeah, no, I was super excited. My clear-cut player of the game, OG Anunoby. We even saw post-up isolations from OG. The confidence he had in this game was second to none. I mean, now we're starting to see Oren and OG that when he looks at smaller players guarding him, that other teams think they can get away with, throwing a Derek White on him. We've seen in past games guards being thrown on OG because people don't, respect. A lot of teams don't respect his off the dribble game enough.
Right.
So they feel like they can just put a guard on him. But on this play, they had DeMar on him. I mean, that's just a nice crossover. Didn't even talk about his playmaking.
Right. So I have I know I got the other one too. I have both of his pick and rolls with Birch. This one's not even really a pick and roll. This is just a really nice pocket pass.
Yeah. And
for how little OG has been given the opportunity to put the ball on the floor in his career with the Raptors, it's I'm extremely impressed just how natural he is when he does run pick and roll. This is not an easy pass to make. It's a pass that a lot of guys take years to kind of develop. And this is really OG's first season of putting the ball on the floor and getting screen help. And
yeah, he's never had to make that decision before. He's never put in a position where he had to make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I have another one with Birch here. And I mean, Birch is good, but
Birch, whoo, we'll get into him.
Woo. Did I just pull up the same one? Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Wait,
I did.
Is that the same one? It is the same one.
Yeah, here, 1 second.
OG Anunoby, playmaking. We literally saw it all in this game. Shooting, off the dribble shooting.
Okay, here's the other one.
So again, this is Derek White on him.
Yeah, and this is a pick and roll. Birch makes good. Shot. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember when we were talking about Fred VanVleet and OG? Very similar situation. Birch hits the screen really well. And, I was talking at one point about in a past episode about Fred VanVleet kind of missing OG after OG had made contact on the screen. And that's because pick and roll is not easy. It's not an easy thing to make these decisions on the fly. But OG immediately recognizes that he has the pass here. He sees the gap and he sees Pirtle commit to him and he delivers the bounce pass, not just into Birch, but into where Birch is running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
like on the way there. So that was really good from OG. And that's what comes with, learning that pick and roll game. It's not necessarily always putting the ball in where you think, the right position is. You got to almost lead Khem Birch to the rim. For any of our point guards watching in the live comments, I'm sure you guys have done this before in some of the pick and rolls you've done for your rec league. You got the big man rolling to the hoop, put it right in front of Khem Birch. Now, let me ask everybody in the live comments a question, and you know where I'm going with this, Oren, because this isn't meant to throw shade at all, okay? I'm not here to throw shade at the guy who's gone 3 DNPs in a row, okay? Do we see this at all with Aaron Baynes? Do we – I had a tweet, right, it's going to take me some time to pull it up, but man, I'm starting to think, Oren, if we had Khem Birch from the beginning of the season in all the minutes, Baynes was getting, I mean, they are two totally, totally different players, man. The athleticism, the ability to finish at the rim, his ability to just catch the ball, his mobility coming off of screens. There's so many questions that we just don't ask anymore. And a lot of that just has to do with Khem Birch being a much better player for Toronto than Aaron Baynes was this season. Do you agree?
For sure. Aaron Baynes fan club is down bad right now. But I really like this tweet from our friend Blake Murphy.
Yeah.
Because I think this was really the story of the game. You got contribution across the board. And there was some, players who hit threes and kind of I thought everyone just is kind of coming back to playing their best self. And I think part of that could be the conditioning after COVID and just kind of working your way through such a condensed schedule. It takes some time to kind of build up the ability to play on these back-to-backs. But
yeah. So
some of that comes down to some shooting luck, but some of it also just comes down to Birch and Gillespie at the 5 instead of Baynes. Great, Yuta and Paul Watson giving you really good minutes. Yuta, who I was extremely impressed with, not just the shots, but I mean, he had one possession against the zone where he immediately recognized no one was doing anything with it, drove, got into the paint, threw it to the weak side corner, and then it was one more pass to Flynn for the open 3. So you got contribution across the board. And the bench looked good, and that's why this tweet. Oh yeah, this tweet. I keep forgetting that I have to stay on the page. This tweet I really think is the story of the game and really the story of the Raptors season. If they had better depth and if they had guys on the bench playing like they played tonight, like Yuta and Paul Watson, all season, I think they would be an easy playoff team in the East. But because we've had to roll with Stanley Johnson, Aaron Baynes, Terrence Davis, for such big minutes this season, that's more than anything the reason that we're down bad.
That Khem Birch finish that we saw on that OG Anunoby pass, I need to hear people's answers in the live comments. I need to know. And, I got to block out the name too because I know NBA players are, they stay searching their names on Twitter. I don't know. These are the questions that came to my head immediately. The second one really rings a bell with me. Does he catch the ball? Is the ball even caught? Forget him rolling to the rim, him finishing at the rim. Is the ball even caught? Man, what a game from Khem Birch tonight. Another guy you mentioned was Yuta Watanabe. And for me, Oren, my goodness, Yuta. We've been waiting for a game like this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we were waiting for really a game where Toronto could have had a constant, or I should say a consistent bench scorer. And Yuta came in and we saw a brand new player with a brand new confidence in this game. He doesn't shoot that. And he shot that tonight and it was immediate. There was no thinking. It was, you're going to give me that room, I'm going to shoot it. The confidence is a lot different. And I think a lot of that just has to do with Watanabe being, relied upon more, him getting consistent minutes in this rotation. Do I see him as, a long-term, bench piece for this team? I don't know. I'm not ready to go there yet. I know a lot of people have been writing their tweeting a storm when it comes to, next season's going to be great because you got Birch and you got this and, you got that and Flynn's going to be coming off the bench. And if we can bring back Kyle Lowry, Yuta, I'm not there with Yuta yet. I'm not. Again, he had a great game. At one point, he had 11 points in 11 minutes. That pass was really good. Of course, OG did get blocked, but there's our man, Khem Birch, there to clean it up again. If he keeps playing like this, Oren, I'm gonna have to say that Watanabe is I want him back next year. If he continues with this type of confidence, I won't really have a choice.
No, I'm with you. Like, Raptors fans are extremely reactionary sometimes. I saw people also saying, like, sign Freddie Gillespie now, and like, I get it. I'm not opposed to any of this stuff, but like, you also just need to give these things some time and kind of give yourself as much time as possible to make a decision. But Yuta, I agree with you that like he looked like a different player. He's never even near this confident. So to take such a big jump in every way, this game was honestly amazing. Like, his defense is always good. His rebounding is always elite. So those things are going to keep him kind of fringe level, rotation player level type of player. But today, like, the aggressiveness with the shot making obviously was one thing. But yeah, like I said, that drive really impressed me against the zone, because that's really like reading the floor well, and not only reading the floor well to get into the paint against the zone, but also just making a great skip pass that you don't see Yuta make very often.
This one, Oren, I don't know if you're pulling up a clip same time as me.
No.
This one was the one that really caught my eye. Like, there's barely any room there, man. Like, Derek White was right there, and Yuta, again, didn't even think twice. Pascal starts it off. Freddie with the high screen. Yuta just curls over and doesn't even think twice. There's 14 seconds left on the shot clock. This isn't a shot where, the shot clock's ending. He doesn't really have a choice. This is something that you would expect Rodney Hood to shoot.
Yeah, and watch his footwork here. Like, he squares his shoulders up with the rim extremely well.
Yeah.
And he was doing this all game.
Yuta, I don't know if you noticed, Oren, but he has a very good sense of spacing. Like, he's almost always in the right spot. A lot of
like probing the perimeter.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of times I feel like he gives the ball up a little too soon. Sometimes when he can either score, he can make something of a possession, but he's very good. He has a very innate sense at reading where everybody else is on the court and spacing it out. And again, spacing doesn't just help him. It helps the entire team. So if he's in the right position, it almost guarantees the guy beside him to be in the right position. And then it's just a swing, and there you go. So
yeah. And Phoenix Play Z says Siakam doesn't get enough credit for his playmaking. And I 100% agree, which is why I had this clip planned.
Oh, look at you.
Something I've been noticing recently is Siakam's made these little incremental bumps to his playmaking all season. But like, one example is just like I don't know if I said this last episode. I might have, but he's taking the extra second or two to bait his defender, especially when it's a double, which happens to him a lot these days. He's taking the extra second or two to free up his man. So to bait the defender to free up his man before he makes this pass. So this one is with Yuta. It happens to be. But I just like how I'm going to pause it next time. He could have made the pass a couple seconds earlier and Yuta still would have had a decent look. But just right here, like, he could have made it, but he kind of takes like the extra dribble, the extra, like, getting Utah's man to commit even further to him. He's getting really, really good at baiting these double teams and then making not just like a pass, but like a money pass right into the shooting pocket. So like, yeah, Siakam, like, we're now getting used to saying Siakam had a six assist game, which which last season we would have like never expected from him. And like, I'm not going all the way with Siakam. He's obviously had an up and down season and struggled really badly at times, really noticeably. But I thought he was overall good tonight, especially considering it was the second night of a back-to-back. And the playmaking plays like this, he was their hub on offense for the most part. I thought he read the floor extremely well, deciding when to get it. Like, he only shot 1 3 and he had 20 shots and 7 free throws. So he kind of didn't settle. He got into the paint when they defended him one-on-one. When they sent doubles, he made plays like that. Perfect passes, waiting. The only I forget that word. What is that word?
Quibble?
No.
Okay, I was totally off.
I don't know, but the only criticism I have on him is like sometimes he's making these closeouts that are like very Chris Boucher-esque, where he's just uncontrolled, running out to the 3-point line and getting blown by. And he's just getting blown by too easily. I want to see him kind of keep his man in front of him a little more often. He, I think, can get a little lazy on defense, kind of asking guys to switch out for him when he doesn't want to run out to the perimeter. So those are little things on defense that I want to see cleaned up. But again, 37 minutes after playing 40 last night, it's hard to kind of get mad at his game.
Super hard to get mad at his game. We talked about OG Anunoby. Talked about Pascal. DeRozan, I felt like we obviously, naturally with this being a Raptors post-game live show, we don't really focus on the other team. But DeMar DeRozan, man.
Like, he only had 11 shots, so I was pretty impressed with OG's defense on him. But obviously, he had 11 assists.
And that's one thing about DeRozan. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's sitting around 6-7 assists a game this year. And it's not really even the assist number. It's just DeMar's ability to just read the entire court is insane. It has become absolutely insane, especially from where Gripe. That was the word. The thing with DeMar is that when you watch him now on another team, it's almost like, just like I said with who's that player that I just said had an innate feel? Yuta. He has an innate spacing feel. I feel like DeMar has an innate playmaking feel where he has eyes everywhere and he just knows where everybody is. And he's just such a good playmaker, man. Like, that's a whole new level to his game that I appreciate so much. I feel like DeMar doesn't even need at this point a consistent, 3-point shot. DeMar's the type of guy that, you don't necessarily want to leave him wide open for a 3. You don't want to really leave any NBA player wide open for a 3 that has some semblance of a shot. But for me, DeMar, in terms of the pick and roll, man, you're bringing up all the options, right?
That's a good one.
In terms of the pick and roll, or I don't know if a wing in the league reads the pick and roll, other than maybe LeBron reads it better than DeMar DeRozan. I genuinely don't know, and I don't know. I don't know. Khem Birch, though. Let's get into Khem Birch. Khem Birch, Oren, got into him a little bit, when we mentioned Aaron Baynes, but Khem Birch had one hell of a game. Goodness gracious. I mean, the rim protection, his ability to, like I said, come off of screens. Look, Oren, I'm going to play this clip right here. Okay. If we had this guy from the beginning of the season, man, I don't know, man. Like, and I know that seems like a very easy play. If you're not a Raptors fan, you're watching this live show, you're probably like, what's so good about that? Well, the Raptors did employ Aaron Baynes, and they still do. And he couldn't do that at all.
No, for sure.
And I was talking to someone in the DMs. I'm not going to say, which Raptors writer it was, but the thing with Aaron Baynes, Oren, for me, is that it's not necessarily that he was, one of the worst big men in the league for Toronto this season. It was more or less him, honestly, truly, and I think I'm being fair. He looked like one of the worst players in the league. I'm being totally honest in terms of the minutes on the floor that he would give Toronto. Yeah. Because Khem Birch, again, isn't an all-star. This isn't a guy who's coming in, with a crazy resume. A guy who came in and is projected to put up 15 and 15 for us. This is a guy who was essentially really a backup, maybe barely a starting big for Orlando at times this season. And that goes to show that he can just come in and Toronto's offense and defense can look so much better with just a consistent, you can even say an average big in Khem Birch. You can even say that. You can say an average big. And the fact that Aaron Baynes is on a 2-year, $14 million contract, right? Getting $7 this year and $7 the next year. Oh, I don't know, Oren.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
it's unguaranteed. It's unguaranteed next year.
Unguaranteed.
The
Okay.
Raptors cannot pay him, or they can trade him, but I don't think Aaron Baynes will be back. But yeah, this is a great block by Birch here in transition. Like that's what kind of sticks out to me is his transition game. He just fits into the system so well. He can make decisions on the run. He can play both ends on the run. Obviously, he can finish kind of under pressure. I didn't even have any notes on Birch. I'm realizing because I think it was just like you said, like just a solid all around game. Nothing really popped. You know, he's not hitting threes. He's not. Actually, the one thing that popped was his playmaking. He had a couple of really nice passes
some nice
that kind of stood out to me. But 2 blocks, 6 rebounds, +8. Yuta and him were the plus leaders on the team.
I saw tweets like this all night. That's the only reason I'm highlighting this. Khem Birch. I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He looks like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now I'm seeing Prime Shaq.
I didn't even think he was this good, though. Like, you know, he's going up against Jakob Poeltl, who's he's very good.
Yeah, that's fair. And for me, Jakob Poeltl reminds me a lot of Khem Birch. They're both very active, very good in the pick and roll, and guys who are extremely, I want to say, active around the rim. And that's not even necessarily just grabbing rebounds like some dominant Andre Drummond force. Just them being a pest down there, a big man pest, being annoying down there.
Yeah. The thing about Baynes that makes him so hard to play is that, like, okay, he's not going to shoot threes, so he's going to hurt the spacing. Fine. So you think of him as a defensive specialist, but then defensively, he's not playing very well. Like
100%.
He's terrible in the pick and roll. He's terrible defending the perimeter. And then it's like, okay, he's okay defensively. I'll give Baynes that. He's okay defensively. But like to be okay defensively, you have to be at least good, okay offensively. And Baynes is a 0 on offense. So it's really hard to play when you don't kind of thrive on either side of the ball. And I think we should get to Gillespie too, because
this is literally I was about to say we got to segue to him. We have to.
Yeah, I was impressed with him. I mean, he's very Birch-like in his stature, his kind of the way he moves around the floor, his size, his length. And, he's raw. You can tell that he's very raw. Sometimes he doesn't know where he should be. He doesn't know what play they're running, but he makes up for it just playing hard as hell. And 5 offensive rebounds for Freddie Gillespie. I think that shows just how hard he's playing and how focused he is on kind of, getting that second contract and proving that he belongs in this league. And by the way, I highly recommend Blake Murphy's feature on Freddie Gillespie in The Athletic.
That was
for
great.
People. Yeah, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. So for people who want to learn more about Freddie's journey from Division III college in Minnesota or Minneapolis to Toronto in the NBA, I would check that out in The Athletic.
Blake did a great job with that. I love that. I feel like that's Blake's best work, when he follows a player's story. And when I saw the Freddie one, because I personally, I knew he was from the Memphis Hustle. I mentioned that a couple, live shows ago, but I wasn't really sure. Like, I didn't really know who Freddie Gillespie was. I wasn't aware of his play in the G League. As soon as the Raptors signed him to a 10-day, that's when the information starts coming in, starts flowing in, and people left, right, and center saying, Freddie's was one of the better guys in the G League bubble. Played really well for the Memphis Hustle. Again, his story started in Minneapolis. And it's great. I feel like he's done a great job. He's done more than enough to warrant another 10-day contract. There's a reason I highlighted Daniel Hackett, his tweet. Daniel Hackett from Raptors HQ, by the way, his tweet about Freddie Gillespie. And again, it's a quote tweet of Esfandiar's tweet where, S says, if Freddie doesn't get another 10-day contract, you can't really see it. Oh, my goodness. The banner's there. Let's get rid of this banner real quick. There we go. If Freddie doesn't get this next 10-day contract, we riot. I agree with S. We don't actually riot. We riot on Twitter. That's what me, Oren, and S, do pretty frequently. But Daniel Hackett makes a good point. I don't think he should get another 10-day. I think he's done enough to warrant a 2-year minimum deal as soon as this 10 days up. I feel like he's young. A lot of people in the live comments right now are mentioning how he's only, 23 years old, super young, super active, long wingspan. This is one of those situations for Masai Ujiri in the front office where, you can really take advantage of getting this guy right now on a 2-year minimum deal. I see a real future with Freddie G on this team, whether it be as a backup center, whatever it is. I don't know what his future role is going to be, but I think in the last, I want to say week or so, he's done more than enough to get a 10-day contract, more than enough. I don't know if you agree with me.
No, I agree with that. Like they should get as many looks at him in general with this kind of stuff. Like if you can sign him to another 10-day in order to get another look at him before signing him to contract, I mean, I'm not against that, but like he's proved that he deserves another shot with this team, no doubt. Like they're asking him to play a very specific role, I think, and I don't even think Nurse is intending to play him 20 minutes, but Freddie's just so good out there and he looks so, confident and capable that he just kind of leaves him on the floor. And like, the defense is there, 3 of 5 from the field and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. So he's not like taking bad shots. He's obviously shooting the ball efficiently. And then like the offensive rebounds and 3 blocks just sticks out in terms of like a hustle guy who's playing extremely hard for these minutes. Like I'm not ready to go anywhere crazy in terms of like him being a part of the future. Like we don't know yet, but everything you can only like say so much from a 3-game sample size, but everything we've seen, even in terms of his game-to-game improvement in within system, is definitely impressing me.
So you're not ready to say 2-year minimum deal?
Sure. Minimums. No, sure, but I mean, I don't know. Like with this stuff, it's what about like Moses Brown getting like a 4-year, last 2 years unguaranteed deal?
Put him in prison. Sorry, no, I don't mean that. But Sam Presti, man. I mean, again, we talked about this a while ago. You could look at it 2 ways for Sam Presti and OKC. You can look at it if you're an OKC fan and say this guy is signing really good, young talent to these contracts. And then from the other side, it's like, what the hell are these agents doing accepting these 4-year contracts that are worth, freaking $4? Like
sometimes I feel bad. Like I feel like it's not even the agents. I feel like a lot of the times it's just the athlete saying, I need money.
Exactly.
Like
I need
money right now.
I need that security. Yeah.
I need just money right now in the bank account. But we should talk about Chris Boucher because that was an unacceptable end to the game. Like unacceptable. He shouldn't even be out there at that point.
Goodness. I literally said it last night. Chris Boucher for me should not be playing in the clutch. He just shouldn't. I don't care if you consider him a top 5 Raptor on this team. With Chris Boucher, you see too many mental mistakes for a guy that, when it gets down to the nitty-gritty late in the game, clutch moments, he makes these boneheaded mistakes. I really got to watch what I say because what I was saying when he was making some of these mistakes, I was shocked. I didn't know. Like I didn't know what to say. But it's becoming a trend, I think, with Chris Boucher, where he's never been a guy, to get, late game minutes. And I feel like in this game, he got late game minutes. The last game, he got late game minutes. He's really been getting clutch minutes, in every game that's went down to the wire for Toronto, or at least the majority of them this season. And I get it. From Nick Nurse's perspective, he's probably thinking he's one of our better players. You look at the rest of this team, Siakam, Anunoby, Flynn. You need a guy that can protect the rim, can stretch it out a little bit, can do multiple things. And again, this isn't us getting at Chris Boucher for the game he had. I thought he played pretty solid at times. He had 12 points, 12 rebounds, right? He had a double-double. He shot 5 for 9. He was super active around the glass. He didn't get a block today, which is unfortunate, but 5 turnovers?
Yeah, it was nice to see the 3-point shot go down for sure. He's really needed that to come back to where it was early this season. 33 minutes. I think when he's at the 4, he's kind of more at his natural position, playing beside Birch. But yeah, Daniel Hackett made the point on Twitter that at the end of the game, closing him out at the 4 means he's going to be on the perimeter more. And that's just not somewhere he's comfortable, which is why he, fouled Australian guy.
Patty
Mills for the 3 at the end of the game.
Love Patty.
He's just not comfortable at the perimeter. And he's also not, obviously, he also had that turnover from the jump ball. So these are like mental mistakes. We said the exact same thing last game where he shot that 3 late in the fourth quarter. With 12 seconds on the shot clock. He shot a step back 3. So it's kind of, I guess it's a small trend of a couple of games now where in the last few minutes, he's just making really bad decisions because he really just has to stick to his role. Like, I feel like the Raptors are starting him now. They're playing him a lot of minutes. This is a development play more than anything. It feels like they really want to develop him, get his shot back and all that. But like, maybe he's taking this kind of this confidence that Nick Nurse is showing in him a little too far by stepping outside of his role a little too much and trying to make things happen.
I'm having flashbacks of that step back midi he did yesterday.
Yeah, like it seems like he's just trying to make things happen when it's not his role to make things happen. It's his role to set screens, to roll, to pop out to the perimeter and shoot open shots. But like, it's not his role to kind of take the offense into his own hands.
Yeah, so, here I think we see him get bailed out.
Yeah, for sure.
And this isn't even clutch. This is just like 7 minutes left. Raptors up 5.
And Siakam did well here to scare Lonnie Walker and not foul him.
Yeah, I don't know how he missed that. Especially,
I think he got scared. Like, I think he expected the foul to come. Siakam kind of runs right under him. But definitely Boucher.
To be fair, though, now that I look back at this play, though, Oren, like Lonnie Walker is one of the best athletes in the league, and that's a lot of space.
But it's a sloppy pass.
It is because Chris Boucher's on the opposite end of the court.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to make that pass because naturally Lonnie Walker, you got to think about it from his perspective. He's thinking Chris Boucher's not bringing this ball up. Look at Yuta. Yuta's like, I'm not bringing it up either. His head's down. He's getting ready to run down the court. Gillespie's looking at the opposite net. He's ready to run down the court. There's only one real guy that can bring the ball up the court that's in a Raptors uniform out of those 4 guys you see, and that's Pascal Siakam. So Lonnie Walker was smart to bait him there, and then he just closes the gap, cuts it off completely, and Pascal – wow, Pascal did a great job there. I got to see that one more time. He didn't – there was no contact at all. He just went underneath him. And to be fair, Lonnie Walker, you just got to dunk this at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to go up.
Probably true.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, the Spurs, I think the Spurs had some mental mistakes, but, I mean, they shot 42% from 3. I thought they played a pretty good game. I just think the Raptors, like, nothing special, but I just think the Raptors were better. Like, OG on DeRozan really took his scoring out of the game, forcing him to kind of give up the ball, and they were kind of asking other guys who aren't great three-point shooters to hit shots. They hit 42% of them, but 42% from the field as well. So I thought the Raptors just played really nice. And for the tank, we didn't even get to Malachi Flynn, who I thought was solid, and he's making improvements every game. But for the tank crowd, I hate to tell you, the Raptors won and the Bulls lost. So the Raptors are now only 1 game back of the play-in spot. I mean, I really think they're going to pass the Bulls. I think the Wizards are the scarier team for me, who are 1 game back of the Raptors entering the night. But I'm more scared of the Wizards beating us for that spot than I am the Bulls. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards, I feel like as long as they keep growing and they have 2 very good players in Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, it really just depends on the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
How much they can get, the Denny, I hope I say his name right, Avdia. I hope they get Denny up to speed. I don't know if Hachimura Oren is injured. I know he was injured the last time the Wizards and Raptors played.
He's like kind of day-to-day, but I think he's back. It was nothing serious. He's having a pretty good second half of the season. I have him in fantasy, so I know that. But like Rui's
He's
an
good.
interesting player.
like
I think he has a lot of upside. And Westbrook is on this run right now where he's just unstoppable. And I think Beal's been in and out of the lineup. So that's the thing. When they get everyone back and healthy, they've been ravaged by COVID this season too. I think they're definitely a better team than Chicago.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. Like I said, they have two. For me, Oren, it's like when it really comes down to it and two teams are playing, you have to look at the best players. And as long as they have, all right players around them, I feel like Rui Hachimura is a very good third option for a team like the Wizards. I think he can grow into being, a very good 3 option, maybe a low end 2 option for a team. But right now, I think he's a good 3. You have Denny, you have Ish Smith, who I've always felt like is a good backup point guard. Yeah, the Wizards are good, man.
Yeah, their problem, I think, looking at their roster, is that they don't really have centers because Thomas Bryant went out really early in the season. So they basically have Alex Len, who Raptors fans know is not very good, and Robin Lopez off the bench. So their center lineup, like in the playoffs, those centers will be put in pick and roll and they'll be destroyed. But in the regular season, I think they're a better team, especially that star power is hard to overlook.
Yeah, and if I'm like a Pacers or one of those teams just above the Raptors, I don't want to face the Wizards. If they're fully healthy, I don't.
Or the Raptors.
Westbrook and Beal? Hell no.
The thing about the Raptors is like this, it's not even being a homer to say that if they make the play-in, they should be favored to win the play-in. Like I think it's the Pacers and who else is in the play-in right now?
The Pacers, the Raptors. I'm assuming.
Oh, it's like the Knicks would be one of the teams, and then who's 9 right now? I forget. But honestly, the Raptors at full strength are better than all those teams.
9 is the Pacers. So let me tell you right now. You got the Bulls in 10th. The Raptors are 11th. Pacers are 9th. Knicks are 8th. Hornets are falling. They're 7th.
So the way it would work right now, if it ended, was the Raptors. Well, assuming the Raptors overtook the Bulls, is the Raptors would play the Pacers in a game, and then the Knicks would play the Hornets, and then the winner of Raptors Pacers would play the loser of Hornets Knicks. So those are 2, very winnable games for the Raptors. So I'm still, I'm torn every day, but I'll be happy either way, and I'd be excited to see us be in the play-in tournament, and I would favor us to win it.
I would too, and the play-in tournament for me, I consider it almost like a playoff environment because it's almost like being in the early rounds of the March Madness tournament. It still counts, right? So I would love that for Toronto. I would love for them. I actually don't know if I'd love for them to land in the lottery. I just can't ever really say I want Toronto to lose. I know I said it, a couple shows ago that a loss is a win. I think I said it yesterday as well. But we're close, man. We're super close.
Very close.
So
the Bulls, they had an opportunity to run away with this thing after they kind of went all in at the trade deadline, and they're just a mess. They're a mess of a team.
Yeah. What'd you think about this shot? Because I see John Doe 230 pulled this up, and I'm gonna pull up this clip. If you have it.
Yeah,
this was gorgeous from Malachi Flynn. Again, you don't expect him to make these type of shots, but I will tell you one thing: he hit it. So this was literally Chris Paul-esque. Oh my goodness!
Oh, that was like the late game one too. Yeah, he had another one of those at the elbow. Earlier in the game. Like Flynn is still very much figuring out the size and athleticism of the NBA. So you'll see him get blocked a lot. You'll see him kind of come up really short on those elbow jumpers a couple times. But I have like confidence that he's going to develop that mid-range game more consistently once he learns, more of the tendencies of bigs.
Yeah. Patty Mills could have blocked him here. Like that. Am I tripping, Orton? Or
that was a tough shot. Yeah, I don't know,
but he just jumped. I just don't think he wanted to jump. Can you even blame Patty Mills on a shot like that?
He probably just like his mindset is like, I'm gonna let the rookie take a hard shot instead of like maybe fouling him, just let him take a tough shot, and he's probably going to miss it.
I'm going to watch this for Patty Mills. I want to see how he reacts after his reaction. He had to have been, oh, man. Yeah, he's like, what the hell, man?
The Raptors really kind of almost blew a lead there. The Spurs full court pressure really turned, it was hard for the Raptors. They had an 8-second violation, but I'm still impressed that, they kind of figured it out as it went on, and they found out a way to win, which is more than we can say most nights for the Raptors. They pulled out a win against a good Spurs team.
Yes.
And that's worth celebrating.
That is definitely worth celebrating. I think I'm going to end it off there, Oren. We've been going for quite a while.
Yeah.
We did highlight a bunch of Raptors who had great games. DeMar DeRozan returned, had a nice chat with Kyle Lowry in this game. It was a nice little, Wednesday night game for Toronto off of a back-to-back. Hey, the Raptors won a back-to-back. That is absolutely crazy. Before you guys do leave us tonight, though, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel. Turn on the post notifications if you haven't already. Chris Willis, I see you in the comments. I see you. I've seen you saying, don't forget to like. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate the support for myself, Oren, and the entire show. We also want to thank our sponsor, RF Qureshi from Remax, for supporting the show. This was the wrap-up, guys. A Wednesday night win versus the San Antonio Spurs, bringing the Raptors record to 21-33 on the season. I'm your co-host, Sahal Abdi, again here with Oren Weisfeld. We'll see you guys on Friday night versus the Orlando Magic. Take care.
I will not be here, but someone else will be here.
Someone else will be here.
It will be a good show. Later days.
Take care.